Hi, I'm Leslie, and I play Whisker, the Yosoki cyborg nanocyte.
Hi, I'm Pan, and I play Power the Stranger, a precog.
I'm Richard, and I play NR5E, a sentient robotic operative.
I'm Kay, and I play Soul the Solarian.
I'm Mark. I play Koto Yoshitada, the Witch Warper and Soldier.
I'm Cooper. I play Pons, the Mystic Contemplative. And I'm Adam, your Galactic Manager.
Welcome back, Emergency Power Podcast. You make it all the way back to Uzi. Silent, defeated, body-hopping baddie, nor bother you anymore. All problems solved, and now we are free to go on space adventure.
Season 4, let's go!
Uzi's starting to think this might actually be dream we all stuck in, and you're still in middle of bad things. No, wait, don't wake up!
Oh, no.
Bye, Uzi. Come back, Uzi.
Uzi.
We need the Omega
Such a brief taste of hope.
Yeah, secretly Uzi left the show, and just this was our way of just glossing over that fact.
Uzi got really good deal on Dimension 20.
He got his own spin-off series.
Goblin Actors and Writers Guild go on strike.
Went on strike, immediately got results. Entire businesses run only with Goblin.
You know what? I can't blame Uzi for that.
No. Get that bag.
Omega
Definitely miss him now.
Uzi.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do when you're running a space empire.
As we are learning right now, protests work.
Yes.
Yeah, or violent revolution. That is also something
Damn
you're
the
learning.
man, save the empire.
Great reference.
Okay, so when last we left this game, like, I've been getting messages in the chat, like, from bunches of people who are like, so much anxiety. We're finally at the top of the tower. Like,
What are we going to find?
who's to
Theories?
say? We'll have to find out.
We should cover our current theories so that we can get a popsicle when the time comes.
We got to figure out if
do
we
it.
need to fan out our attack. Where is the Candy Tower located?
Is there a crystalline crunchy factory? Because then we can definitely get Uzi here.
Yeah,
Before we hit up Nerians, we need to go get some crystalline crunchies.
Yes.
It's important.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's vending machines all over for stuff like that. So just hit one of those up real quick.
Yeah.
But like, it's the rich people version, so they're like wrapped
so it's
in
got
bars of
actual
gold.
sugar?
Oh, no, you know what's ritual versions? They're not nearly as good. They're like, like keto fancy ones.
It's got the little dehydrated berries in it.
Yes.
What does food taste like without xylitol? Sure.
This conversation is a bit of a holdover from something we were talking about before. We were talking about like all the sawdust and stuff that's actually in food.
Awful.
So
Oh, I thought you were talking about the penis weasel.
clearly in spitting.
Oh, we promised, Mark.
We'll
we
cut that.
promised.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Now you said it.
No, Leslie.
That's going to be the greatest
That was
Twitter
on
clip.
purpose, wasn't it? Every time. Okay, you know what? I'm starting this episode before this can continue.
You should.
That's all I have to say.
Grab
Really
the
should.
reins.
We are so nervous. We're just like, anything happy.
Hold on, I can start the music over.
No. They'll smack that out of your hand, Leslie. All right, we're doing this. Never has the sky looked so blue, held up by a red swirling foundation that stretches out to eternity. The blue, pierced by spires, reaches for the heaven, grasping like hands, being dragged downwards towards the relentless sands. The world below would give anything to stand above the storm. And here you are. The question is, can you breathe easy, or will you choke under the pressure in the Tomes of Emergency Power, Volume 3, Chapter 25?
Oh my gosh.
So many chapters. I love it.
So many chapters.
I'm running out of numbers.
All the good ones are taken.
As the building's platinum doors slide open and you prepare to disembark the shuttle, Middle manager, Corain Volk, looks at everyone with an overt smile. Well, this is as far as my clearance allows. I hope you've enjoyed your time in our wonderful tower. We take great pride in our services and would love if you would fill out one of our quick questionnaires on the Infosphere site. Submissions have a chance to win a 200 credit gift card.
Survey denied.
You can drop the act. We're already getting off.
Oh my god, I'm very sure Koto would love to give you a 5-star review.
We know your time is valuable, and it means the world that you chose to ascend with us. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
5e turns to Soul and says, should I stun her?
Why are you all? I'm the violent one. Why are you all? Pawns, I need that. I need the null space generator. for just a
5e's
moment,
tolerance level is just like dropping.
please. Right.
It's a little status bar on their face.
You want the cube, Salt? Here.
Yeah, thank you. And Soul is going to just dig around real quick and start pulling out a holster with a gun, a holster with a knife, and those poofy black pants and the headband, and fold the weapons inside the pants and then tie them with the headband. So it kind of looks like a little present, a little bow.
And your present is violence.
Yes.
Paul's gonna like just edge back out of the door. And go. Thank you for your time.
It's like scooch out as
Yeah,
the door slowly
slide.
opens behind you. Like, I've got to go now.
How long is she charmed for again? I think this was like 7 hours.
It was
It's
like
like
7
hours,
hours.
right? It's hours, yeah.
Yeah.
But she's still
Yeah.
cool.
It was an hour per level.
Yeah. She's gonna be our friend for
Yeah.
a little bit,
Okay.
a little bit longer.
Which way do we go to get to the communications room?
They just point at the only door that's like at the end of this short walkway. Just head down that direction.
Right, let's go.
Thank you for all your
All
help.
right.
It's greatly appreciated.
Of course. And like looks at you in particular. Feel free to visit anytime.
5e will advance into the hallway and start making a perception check to just make sure there's nothing really nasty waiting.
Good
Sure.
call.
As
Okay.
5e is doing that, Soul's going to let everyone kind of step out and then turn to Corinne?
Corain?
Corain. Yeah, Corain Volk. Sorry. Thank you.
And say, okay, so like you've been a great help and I'm sure you're gonna like feel ways about things in a couple hours and that's okay. You should take some time and like sit with your feelings. But like after that, and they're going to produce a card in purple and gold of a figure in religious garb with 2 people kneeling before him. And say, okay, so like when things change, because like things are gonna like change, and if you decide you want to like be on the right side of things, ask for Jasper the Red and tell him you've got a card from an old friend and give him this. And they're going to hand over the Hierophant card.
Interesting. Okay. So they take the card and look down at it, look up at you, over at where you guys are going. Well, it does seem possible I will need to update my resume soon, so thank you so much.
Hierophant Green!
Emeraldo Spudash.
Guys, you gave Corinne Volk one of those JoJo cards.
Crane has a stand
Yes, a
now.
JoJo card. And Soul's going to lean in very close to her and say, and if you even think about betraying my friend, I promise you I will hunt you down and make you wish for the quick and clean death that we gave those mercenaries below. So we like understand each other on this, right?
Oh, jeez.
Thank you for covering that. I was concerned.
Charm ended!
Yeah,
I was about to say I need to roll something real quick.
That
Yeah.
gives them a save.
It does.
I mean, what are they gonna do? Drive away?
No, it's not gonna. Yeah, nothing's gonna
Any act
change.
by you or your apparent allies that threatens the charmed creature breaks the
Yeah.
spell.
Right now.
That's pretty threatening.
We already got what we need out of her. It's fine.
Okay, if I leaned in and said, if you ever fucking talk to my that's called a threat.
Just saying.
Oh no.
All right, so you see their expression change a little bit as you get out of the car and shut the door behind you.
Okay, bye!
Yeah, everyone gives a little wave.
Is there just a reverse button on the car we can just press real quick?
All right, so you all step out into the open air, and there's this biting chill that strikes through you. And Pawns, there's this intense, nostalgic feeling, as if you haven't felt this in a little while. Say, I don't know, a year-ish for some reason.
for some reason.
And as you move into the outer chamber, which acts as like an airlock, the huge doors start to close around you, and you effectively move out of this crisp wind. And then you feel a new draft start to come into the chamber, and you hear the of the air being recycled out of it, and a mist spreads out over the bottom of the chamber as the inner door begins to open. And I know Richard had already given me a perception, so if anyone else wants to, feel free.
I would love to.
5e drops to 28.
Very nice. 21.
What's the lighting situation in here?
Inside this chamber
Yeah.
or inside the inner room?
Inside the inner room.
Okay. I will tell you in just one moment.
25 for Pons.
Only 16.
Pan,
Thinking
you're
about what that
muted.
expression change meant.
26 for power.
Okay. So as these doors open and you begin to take a few steps into the room, most of you have never gone into a room that blends artistry and efficiency so well. Like there's this mesmerizing pattern that graces the transparent walls that's reducing the sun glare and giving the illusion of shifting waves that's demanding your attention. It's very intoxicating. And as the awe of the appreciation falls away, one figure takes your attention, and they're standing back to you on a platform in the center of the room. Her shoulders are perfectly squared, hands behind their back, with legs ramrod straight. Military regalia adorning their crimson officer coat and cap, and a black symbol emblazoned against red is on the back of this jacket, an inverted trident. That's when a smell hits you, overwhelming the filtration system.
It wasn't me, I swear.
Something coming from Koto's direction.
It was a big lunch, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm removing the eggs from the galley.
Something sickly sweet and metallic. And the room comes fully into view. You see a myriad of manned computers perfectly inlaid into curved walls with digital displays. Manned by people who aren't soldiers, but instead look one step shy of civilians wearing Gravewood and System Guard colors. Each and every one slumped over their station with a wide hole bored into the back of their heads, blood pouring from their fresh wounds. A discarded handgun lays still smoking near the Infernex officer, and one of her hands comes free and gestures to the nearby console. My credentials have already unlocked this console. A system-wide stand-down order is prepared for the defense guns. All you need to do is input the commands. Disable them all if you choose. And with this act, our deal is complete. And it's at this point that they turn around, and their face is stern and hard-edged with unwavering eyes. And they look over all of you. Well done getting here, Breathless. I've been instructed to pass on a message. It was meant for a member of your organization. See that it arrives promptly. And they hold out a data pad.
Soul's just gonna step between her and my Ronnie.
I'll walk up and take it.
Okay. Yeah, she lets you have it and just puts her hands back behind her back and waits.
What does it say?
It appears to have an audio message on there, and it is addressed to the Lost.
Well, that's us, so I'll listen to it.
Okay.
I'll patch it in. I'll patch it into everyone's comms.
So you press the button and trigger the audio file, and over everyone's comms you hear, "Father's home, boy."
Oh boy.
What?
And Sol, you had stepped in front of them, and you see Myrani take a step back and all the confidence that had begun to come into them over this entire tower adventure just fully drains away, and you see panic begins to rise in their eyes.
5e steps adjacent, like shoulder to shoulder with Myrani. Not saying anything, not doing anything, just standing at the ready.
You see Whisker's hairs stand up on end.
All of their perfectly manicured coif just goes poof.
That voice sounds familiar, even to me.
Is that the entirety of the message?
That's the dervish, Koto.
Your dervish?
Correct.
So yeah, Koto begins kind of getting you can see that she begins to look a little anxious as well, but then steels herself and says, "Okay, all right, I can do this.
Remember, he's just a wannabe god in our universe.
Sense motive on Koto,
Ooh.
28.
So I think like for what you would be getting from her is that she is more than willing to fight the Cylon, and she is like steeled against them, but the new Triune is kind of above them. Like that's the god they worship and like they sort of follow. And so while she may be willing to fight soldiers who follow that deity, she never once thought about possibly fighting the deity itself. So you can see that she is a little intimidated by it, but is trying to keep a tough face in the face of this.
Gotcha.
And what, the dervish was one of the three false?
Not in our universe, at least not at this time.
Yeah, not
it was
yet
in
for
Koto's
us.
universe.
Okay. Yeah, Pons is gonna just look around and kind of wants to be clued in by everyone as he's standing there with a bunch of dead in front of him and this lady. I assume we've never met Adam.
You don't recognize them, no.
Like, what's going on? Who is she? Why is everyone dead? I think obviously our cover's blown.
What is this deal you speak of?
It was my task to allow through agents sent to dispatch the defenses while removing any, and she gestures around, obstacles they may find here. Beyond that, I recommend you ask your employer.
Are you talking about Mr. Business?
I certainly don't know who runs the Breathless.
Do we still have comms to them? Jasper?
Yeah.
I'm going to go up and start disabling comms.
Are you going to disable comms or the defense guns?
Well, I'll disable everything that I have access to.
You're just going to start
Just
breaking
unplugging
everything?
everything from the wall.
Well, we've definitely got the guns.
As Whisker starts doing that, Soul, if Myrani will allow it, is going to like take his hand and kind of squeeze it, never taking their eyes off this woman, and is going to say quietly but loudly enough for Koto to hear as well, "We've dispatched him once, we can do it again."
So as you try to pull Myrani along, they're just essentially unresponsive at this moment. And the officer looks over and one of their eyebrows raises, and they look down at the data pad that had the message and look back up at Myrani. It seems that the message has met its recipient. That makes things simple then. There's a lab in one of the neighboring towers, Adaptive Evolutions Incorporated. And they gesture down to the data pad. The audio file will unlock the door. I recommend you go quickly.
What?
And with that, they step down off this platform in the center. My job is done here. And they start walking towards the large door you guys came through. And Pons, you recognize the name of that laboratory because that's Narian's laboratory.
Yeah.
Bum,
that
bum,
was quick.
bum.
All right.
Say the name one more time.
It was Adaptive Evolutions Incorporated.
Thank you.
Soul is going to lock eyes with 5e and be like, "Are we letting her?" Don't say it, but the obvious question of, "Are we letting her walk out of here?"
You can do a telepathic link.
It sounds like times of the essence.
I do not believe her quarrel is with us. At least not at this point.
She killed all of these people.
I mean, we might have killed all
We
these
were
people.
going to do the same.
Yeah.
We were gonna do that.
That's why we're
Killed
mad.
them.
There's a floor like a little way down where you have
Wouldn't have
killed
killed them
many
if
people.
they backed away.
Right.
Is she friendly?
This was an obstacle to our objective, and that obstacle has now been removed.
Yeah, one quick clarification, Adam. Did
Sure.
When they were saying all you need to do is input the commands, blah blah blah, our deal is complete.
Mhm.
Were they on a radio or were they talking to us?
They were talking directly to you.
Sounds to me like
Our deal.
Sounds like they had to do with Jasper, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, they must have been
Yeah.
an insider for
Can-
the Breathless.
Can we look at Taye? How are they reacting?
Oh, yeah.
Taye seems just as surprised as all of you about what's going on.
Yeah, she's just leaving. She's just walking out.
She's walking towards the door.
I say we let her go.
I don't want to pick a fight with her and endanger us.
Yeah, she made it sound like there was some kind of time limit thing going on as well.
Can I just like trail alongside her, like silently float and not like make any eye contact, but just kind of walk in the same direction she's walking?
That's creepy.
I mean, nothing's stopping
Yes.
you.
Okay. Yeah, Pons will just kind of float over and do a couple of side glances and try to get a better idea of who this might be.
Can you read her mind?
Was there any sort of... I mean, I could try to charm her, but that's still risky. So is there any sort of insight check I could make? I'm just trying to figure out, is
You want to
she
give me like a sense motive, something
working
like
for
that?
Red, working for the Dervish, or working for Nerians?
Well, the Dervish
At the very
owns-
least, she had a message from the
Yeah,
Dervish,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
she
Yeah,
got
but Nerians
a
and
directive from the Dervish.
Yeah, Nerians and the Dervish are connected. But then that also could have just
how?
been a recording of the Dervish that she had in order to let us unlock that.
The context of the message, though, was directed at someone in our party. They would
Right.
have had
That's
to
true.
know
Yes.
that
Yeah.
You're right.
Myrani was with us.
And if they're saying to go to Nerian's office, which is in AEI?
I thought it would
uses-
be in a funny opening for a door to be like, Father's back, basically, and then have the door open. But
Kick
Sorry.
down the door. Yeah, so you're welcome to give me a sense motive, or if you have any abilities you want to try to use, let me know.
Could I do a status spell on her and just see if she is maybe mind controlled or anything else of that sort?
You're welcome to.
That's
yeah.
a good
Okay, so I believe...
Look out, he's casting a spell.
one. Kodo just shoots a fireball real quick. Wow. Everyone dies.
I'm trying to be upset. It was a mercy killing.
So it doesn't say a saving throw. I'm pretty sure it's a comrade. So I don't know if she'd actually let me do that.
It does have will negates. It's a harmless spell, but will negates, so they
Okay.
can resist it.
So I'll go ahead and use status then, and it's gonna be a DC 17.
Status.
That is a fail.
Okay, and I literally just kind of brush next to her, and then just kind of do a side glance as I cast that spell because I have to touch her.
Breaks your arm.
Yeah, like as you brush their arm, they stop and turn fully to face you. And did you roll a sense motive, or were you skipping that?
I will roll the sense motive right now. That is a natural 20 for a 34.
Wow.
Ooh.
What a time to roll it.
Okay. Yeah, so as you're looking into their eyes and you cast this status spell, it doesn't appear that there's anything magically happening to them. And you also know that they have really low cholesterol. They haven't had alcohol anytime recently. Liver,
Wow.
fantastic.
Good for them.
Holy crap! That was
How do
actually
you live
really
that
smart, Cooper. That spell lasts for an hour per level, and it has no range after you touch them with it. So for 8 hours, we could track them down if we later decide to go hunt them down.
Wow. Nice.
Mm.
Okay. And you look into their steely brown eyes and you see something that's more than intensity, something deeper than determination. You see a fanaticism buried, and there's this single-minded devotion with no room for alternative interpretations. And like this is something you've seen on some other Infernex soldiers to a lesser degree, and even on some of the other mercenaries. But this is something more and something horrifyingly concrete. Yet there's no malice, there's no anger, there's just this satisfied contentment in it.
Wow. So yeah, it's not any sort of magical influence. It's full on either brainwashing or just cult followship, basically.
That's definitely what it seems like.
I'll just kind of look at her, and does he wish to meet with us soon?
I think you should go to your laboratory. It's in your best interest. And they turn and continue walking away.
All right, and I think Pons gets the urgency there and kind of just turns back to the party and looks a little panicked. We gotta go. Tries to, in that moment, connect to Nerians and see if I can feel a connection, a breaking connection, if he's in danger, immediately.
Okay. Go ahead, give me a mysticism check. And while that's happening, Soul, I want to do a check-in with you because several times now people have mentioned cutting off the communications in this tower.
Yes.
And you've been trying to get a message out frantically for the past 2 or so days.
So as she moved, Soul has, keeping hold of Myrani's hand, kept moving to very deliberately put themselves between her and Myrani. And as soon as she leaves, Soul turns to him and kind of gently tries to shake him out of it and be like, Myrani, are you with us? Are you all right? And looks at 5e.
5e chimes in and says, if there is a chance that we will run into the dervish at this Adaptive Evolutions Incorporated, I will not force you to go. We will find passage off this world and run as far as we can.
We can put you on the second hand with Swalkus, and we'll take care of the lab.
So, with all of you chiming in, they seem to come back to themselves a little bit. They're still visibly shaking, but they look around at all of you and they try to speak, but it just kind of comes out and so they don't really indicate one way or another.
Have I been able to disable comms yet?
You have basically full access to everything on this computer, so yes, you could disable comms and guns, and there's a lot of stuff you could do in this system if you felt so inclined. It's connected to a lot of different towers.
Okay. I want to recalibrate the gun turrets, all the automated gun turrets, to target basically the inverse of what they're targeting.
So you want to program these turrets to gun down all of the mercenary ships and that kind of thing?
Yes, I think disabling their comms first will cause more confusion, so I want to do that first, and then that is the second thing that I do.
Okay. So you go in there, and as mentioned, you have full access in this computer. So you go around and you start changing all the targeting parameters. And while you're doing that, on the display, it shows prospective targets before you confirm that this is what you want. And you notice something strange about it. It's implying with the data that not only are there a lot of targets on the ground, but there's also hundreds of targets up above the towers. You look up and you see that there are ships that are leaving the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. I make sure that Pawns remains in the do not target because I don't want Nerians to get blasted. But I think I can safely invert it for everything else. And Whisker has a little bit of hesitation to this because realizing how many people might just die from this, but then thinks about what's at stake and how many people are going to die if the Cylon get in power in this universe, and if the dervish finally gets away, and after thinking about it for a moment, activates the protocol.
Can any of us... Well, I guess we're not really aware, are we?
Yeah, did anyone go anywhere near that console, or did you guys leave it to Whisker, as is often the case?
I am with the panicked child.
Yep, I'm with Myrani.
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually interfere with Whisker's hacking or anything, so...
Yeah. Was the panel in line with the path that I took to follow?
It was
the person?
back towards the
Opposite
center
direction.
of the room.
Yeah.
Then definitely not.
Okay.
It's all you, Para, if you're nosing in.
I guess if Para's aware, Para has been standing around. They've heard the messages. They've watched Pons go on this course, and they've kind of their eyes have drifted, and they've seen Whisker contemplating the next movement, I guess. If that's cool to go in before they press the button.
Sure.
And Paras is next to Whisker, in the silent way they usually move. And they glance over the controls and what it looks like doing, and they turn and say, Whisker, you hesitate. I will not stop you, but are you sure that you wish to do this without all parameters in place? Do you know what it is that you will do with this?
I'm going to end generations of injustice against the Yusoki and other people on this planet.
You will commit mass murder, and we do not know truly whose side we are on. There is obviously something going on with the Breathless, and though I do not wish to stand in your way, I do not want to see you make a mistake that will haunt you. Your life has just begun. It would be a shame for you to be tarred from the beginning with this action. And they step aside, formless as always.
Whisker just has their finger out, just ready to activate it. Their head tilts to the side as they just can't, with what Para said, like, just making it that much more difficult. Pashang! Why you have to give me thoughts like Scriff does? And then we'll adjust the targeting parameters to only target security guards and not the ships that are flying away.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, for this intense moral dilemma, Leslie, I'm giving you a popsicle.
Yes. Well
that was so
deserved.
good.
Wonderful.
All right.
So, yeah.
So you reprogram the parameters to only go after the mercenary companies, and you hit the button, and you hear as multiple guns from outside this building whir into place, and you hear a horrible cacophony of firing, sustained fire that just continues for minutes solid. You guys are welcome to do things within this time, but those guns will be continuously going, and they are deafening.
My gosh.
I think Soul is going to, like, the fire's going to kind of snap them out of their full focus on Myrani and look at 5e like, you got this?
The guns are on our side now. Communications are disabled. I'm reaching out to Swarkus and the second hand now.
It would seem that if we need a distraction to make it to this was it something Evolution Incorporated?
Adaptive Evolutions
Adaptive.
Incorporated.
Right, gotcha.
I think it is best if I take my Ronnie and leave.
Just give me a moment. Just stay with him a moment, and we'll take Myrani's hand and hand it to 5e and then rush over to Whisker. Please, Whisker, please, I need you. I need to contact Vin.
I thought you might. I've already patched it in.
Oh, thank you. And, like, you can see they're very good at compartmentalizing, but now that this reality is on them, like, their heart is racing again. You can see the telltale panic coming back.
So yeah, 2 calls. We can decide which one we want to do first.
With guns pounding in the background.
It's sci-fi. We've got really good noise canceling.
Yep.
I yearn
I
for
don't know
that
if it's
day.
that good.
Yeah. we don't hear most of the stuff on the Dolby anyway.
We can
Yeah, like-
close the blast doors.
All this communication that you guys are doing right now has to be telepathic because it's way too loud to actually be speaking right now.
Okay, well, I have machine telepathy, so I can send audio files telepathically to the computer and receive. So I can send a noise-free communication.
Perfect.
That is incredible, and I love it.
I assume we can feel it, like, shaking through the
Oh,
building.
absolutely. The building is rocking underneath you.
Just a lot of screaming. What? 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 At each other.
Okay.
What did you say?
So let's go ahead and do souls first.
All right, just plug in right here, and I'll be able to communicate without the noise.
Right, and Whisker, if you can, we need to talk to Jasper after this too. We need to know what he's dealing with the dervishes. He reacted, right? He reacted when we... Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, so you plug into Whisker's universal port and begin calling out to the sun siren. And after a short time, the communication is picked up. Starship Sun Siren, state your identification and purpose for contact.
This is Soul. Put me through to Vin. Now. She'll take it.
I was told to put you through. You hear a click on the line. This is Vin Harkion of the Sun Siren.
Vin, you are beautiful. I don't have time for this. I need your help.
Oh, Soul, so good to hear your voice again. It feels as if it's been months since we
Vin,
spoke, but it's only
Vin.
been days.
Vin. How dare you make me laugh in the middle of this, Adam? Vin the Jamili, I need you to contact her.
And what is the purpose?
Why are you... Ethel and Asa are in danger. Vin, of course you were right, you're always right, Vin, they're my family. And Infernax knows of our connection, and they're going to go after them to get to me, and I need you to tell them that they're in danger, and I need you to not have my name on it, because you know me, I'm full of shit, and I don't know that they'll believe me. Please, Vin, please.
I understand, and I will do what I can. But Soul, you need to know something as well. The information that all of you provided me with, the Silan, I took it up the chain, and now, much to my dismay, it's taking me up with it. There was an attack out in the vast, rather close to the sector you informed me about. A secluded space station was assaulted by unknown forces. Unknown until the IDF looked at your information, and now I'm being placed in charge of the fight against them. They think I have insight into this Silan problem.
Congratulations or condolences? I'm not sure, honestly.
You hear the heaviest sigh you have ever heard from them.
All right, yes, all right.
I'm going to be losing my ship because of this, so they're moving me to command. I might be able to take some of my crew, and she says that in this meaningful way. But otherwise, I'm being thrown into this, and I don't know a damn sight beyond what you've told me.
Whisker chimes in at this point and says, What of the Yosoki?
That's the crew she's referencing, darling.
This is a group call. Very good. Yes. I will take what crew I can. You can almost hear the eyebrows going up and down.
Yeah, the wink, wink.
So we've got... All right. Vin, I'm sorry we dragged you into this. I'm so sorry. I know your love of that ship.
If there are any forces you can requisition near Akaton, that would provide us an exit, and we could rendezvous with you from there.
I will see what I can do, and I know that all of you are entangled with this dervish, but any information you can send me about this island, do so, and I mean every single detail. There is a storm approaching, and because I helped all of you out, I am now in front of it.
Whisker sends all of the schematics of the ship that we fought.
Okay.
5E can send all of his combat computations. We've got a full communications array here. It should be able to handle that bandwidth.
We're sending you a stream now.
We might have more information in the near future, but things are complicated here. Vin, if you can reach them, please, just tell me they're all right.
I will begin searching.
Thank you.
Farewell. I must attend to the myriad of details, if you'll excuse me.
Thank you.
And the line cuts.
And Soul just kind of, knees go out, and they just kind of sit on the floor for a long moment.
It's okay. We're going to get them. They're going to be safe. And we'll rest a hand on Soul's shoulder.
Soul's going to look at my Ronnie. He still seems out of it, yes?
Yeah. It seems like the guns are kind of shaking him a bit, so he's just kind of looking around with this 1,000-yard stare.
All right. next up. And with that, Soul's going to untie the headband and start changing out. Just fully drops the skirt, steps into the pants, and straps the...
You see Taye pull down the hat over their eyes so they don't see it.
Yeah. So it's like, it's just skin. If you don't want to see it, don't look. And they strap a holster to each leg before they step into the pants.
Was Whisker also going to contact the second hand?
I am doing that now, yes.
You call up the second hand using the communications array. And again, after not too long, you hear a pickup sound. This is the second hand. Who, may I ask, is calling?
Swolkus, it's Whisker. I mean, it's...
Who's this? Go away! Identify yourself!
Oh, 5e chimes in and says, Swarkus, this is in our 5e. I am transmitting an encrypted data print. Use it to interface with my counterpart kernel in the ship's computer. It will verify our identities.
Ah, a voice I recognize. Good. And you hear loud tapping on computer keys. All right, honing in.
He two-finger pecks, doesn't he?
Yeah, his extendo claws come out and he just tap, 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 taps.
Extendo claws. Love it.
Ah, good. All right. 5e. I haven't heard from you in a day. I was beginning to get concerned. I didn't see the flare. I thought you might have all died down there or something.
Apologies for the delay. We've been keeping deep cover and communications to a minimum so as not to blow your location.
We're starting a revolution. You'd love it. You should come down right now.
We could use your assistance. We've turned the planetary defense system against the mercenaries. It should not target the ship if you bring it into the city. If we transmit our coordinates, can you hone in on us?
Yes, I should be able to. However, there appears to be traffic. Vessels are abandoning this planet like a sinking ship. An evacuation of some kind is taking place, and not just this city. Seems to be all around the globe. I don't know what you did, but whatever you did worked.
How are your flying skills?
Whoever this is, how dare you question my capabilities? They are top-notch.
I know you can punch things. Okay, fine. Then punch it down, follow the gunfire. And I'm going to direct one of the turrets to just blast a line of fire, not towards anything, but to get other ships to clear out of the way.
Nice. 5e also transmits again and says,
You need to lock down the medical bay. There's a possibility that the dervish is active in this system.
Yes, I think when I arrive, we'll have to speak about this. Hold on. There appears to be gunfire in my direction.
Yes. Follow the tracers. It'll lead you right to us. And it should be clearing a path.
Right, 5e, who is this?
I told you, it's Whisker.
Whisker is Scriff and Cat recombined.
Reformed.
Apologies. I am still learning your catchphrase.
This involves Scriff. That's fine, I don't need to know. And they close the comms and you see the chip start heading down.
Still have that chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Soul, turns on Whisker. Can you get through to Jasper?
Yes, let me see.
Okay. So you pull up the communications tower and you call out trying to get Jasper, but you don't get any response. It may be because the storms are still going down there and they're in the middle of the storms. You're not 100% sure on that, but you don't get any communication at this time.
Jasper might be a no-go.
Can I know I haven't seen Jasper in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I know of him, is there anything I can... Soul is worried that he has somehow made a deal with the literal devil of this campaign. Is there any kind of, insight isn't in this one, but...
Sense motive.
It may be better if we may even find out what's going on if we get down there, I guess.
Yeah. I think at the time, and I know you brought it up, okay, I think at the time when you guys mentioned the dervish, Pons did a sense motive on it and picked up something. They seem to be affected by the name, but you didn't have much to go beyond that. And I don't know if Pons mentioned that or not.
That's fair.
I don't think he did.
Can I patch into this real quick? Sorpus mentioned that there was lots of evacuations going on. I just want to see these extra things that were leaving. Do they seem like civilians? Do they seem like it was part of evacuation going on?
Yeah, as you look through in this communications tower, which is connected to most systems in the city, you see that it is a mixture of both civilian crafts and a lot of Infernex crafts, but you don't see any that are System Guard or Gravewood. It seems to be exclusively either non-military or Infernex.
Right.
Perhaps it's
Then
That's up here?
That is ships leaving from everywhere.
yeah, the ships that were leaving, that thankfully Whisker didn't attack in the end.
Can Whisker target the Infernex ships only?
They could, but now there's a gun firing wildly into the air. They might have picked up their speed.
Yeah, we should get moving. Answers may be more apparent. Where is these offices? Where are these offices rather comparative to us? Higher, lower, in the next building over?
Oh, you're talking about like where you're thinking to go?
Yeah, adaptive.
Yeah, okay.
God, evolutionary industries. Got it.
It's in a tower adjacent to it. I
Yeah,
believe, right?
it's in an adjacent tower.
Just call it Aye.
Aye.
I think we finally get to ride in one of these elevators.
So was it above us or below us? Sorry.
It is more or less level. All of the towers around here are almost the same size, give or take a little bit.
Then we just got to get across these towers.
We can use the second hand once it gets down here.
Yeah.
It'll drop us off and then it can take off.
I say, rather than just pacing full of nervous energy, they're going to go over and try to just get Myrani back to reality.
Why don't you go ahead and give me a diplomacy roll for Myrani?
I am going to use my charm and curiosity, so I will get to roll that with advantage.
Fancy.
That's going to be a 17.
17, okay.
Whew.
So you're going to be doing that for a little bit, and I'm gonna answer a roll that Cooper had done quite a while ago at this point, a mysticism roll.
Oh, God.
And I'm also going to give some information about this area because this is the type of place that Pons is familiar with. All right, before I go into that, what was that mysticism roll?
So
Remember,
22.
Cooper? So some things you know about this area is up here above the storms, all of the buildings have multiple different tunnel systems that you can walk from tower to tower on. And if you want to take the express lane, there's pneumatic tubes that go from one building to another, so you can just jump multiple buildings if you need to. The other thing is, you know that there is no landing pad directly at Narian's labs, so using the ship, you'd have to jump onto the roof anyways. So it wouldn't necessarily be a easy thing to do, but not impossible if you wanted to go wild.
Do we know what floor Nerian's lab is on?
One that is basically level with this.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's literally like a airport where you're just like, which number, elevator do I take?
More or less, you just need to jump into one of these things and go. You could go that way. You could walk through the tunnels as mentioned. And Pons, this is the closest you have been and objectively the best roll you've had when you made this check. And you can feel that 2 or so buildings away, while something is definitely wrong, you feel Nerian's.
He's actually here.
Well, yes, I would assume so. That's why we're going there.
Where did you think he'd be?
I lost connection with him, so
You can feel him from this far away?
can feel him from further away, or at least I used to be able to. But
Fascinating.
it's been fading, and it was actually gone a few times. So
Is this good for us or bad for us?
well, I can't say that he's safe, but he is nearby, and he is in the direction we're going.
So we can find out together.
Adam, I don't feel necessary to bring up Mr. Business. Is there anything I'm forgetting in that conversation that would be crucial for Pons to bring up in this moment?
I don't think there's anything crucial that you would gather from these conversations that you've had. You just know that things are very time sensitive, and it was implied how dire they were. But beyond that, no.
The only thing I will bring up was the mention of a decision has to be made, so you should hurry.
Absolutely.
Pons, are you okay?
It's been a while since I've been this close, and I mean, he wasn't doing well before I left. I can only imagine the state he's in now. You know, that call whisker on the elevator it didn't help bring much clarity to the situation. It seems like whatever state we find Nerians in, it's gonna have to come down to a decision. I don't think I quite understand, but
That makes two of us.
What decision?
the person on the phone seemed like I'd have to choose. Maybe it's between Nerians and myself, or
A person who would make you make that kind of decision doesn't sound like a friend. But when you were talking on the phone, it sounded like you were talking to, acquaintance at least, not an enemy.
I hadn't put all the pieces together. I think the vision I shared back when Koto and Para went and I went through the warp hole. I saw the dervish, I saw Nurians, and there was something connected, but knowing the dervish is here again makes me feel this is even more dire than what I had thought. Makes me think that this decision won't be a pleasant one, and I'm worried, even with how close we are now, maybe I can't just save him. Maybe I won't be able to help.
You've come this far. I'm sure you'll be able to do it. I've seen some great things from you.
And Pons kind of nods.
You're a little naive, maybe, but you have a good heart. I can see it.
Thank you. There's so much unknown right now. I wanna get going. We should probably wait for Swarkus, but something tells me I need to go, and I'm hearing exactly what you told me, Soul. So I'm gonna stay here. And Pons will actually just kind of float in one of the chairs there in front of the desks.
Is Myrani coming back to himself yet? Like, is he talking yet, or?
Yeah, he seems to be starting to come around as time passes. And so I'm taking it you guys are going to be waiting for the ship to arrive before you move.
Yeah, we need to brief Swarkus for any intel he can give us
Okay.
and secure the ship.
And as soon as Myrani is kind of talking again, Soul's gonna chat with him.
Yeah. He does seem to be conscious of what's going on, so if you have something to say, feel free.
Yeah, they will keep 5e nearby. Like, they're having this conversation with 5e included. And will kind of guide Myrani to sit now that we know that we're waiting, and try to help him get the helmet off so he could breathe a little better.
Sure. I keep trying not to interrupt this to say that all the chairs are filled with dead bodies. But
On the floor! Sit on the floor!
I was gonna say, I don't know if there are any chairs that don't have dead bodies. So Pons probably just floated over one and was like, this is fine, I'm not touching it.
That's not gonna phase Pons at all.
That's such a Pons thing.
Just floating over a dead body. Crisscross applesauce.
okay, so yeah, you find a quiet, not blood-stained spot to sit down.
And, you know, Soul has been as soothing as they can be. They're not exceptionally good at this, but we'll finally be like, Myrani, I forbade the crew from asking you questions about the dervish because it was important to me, to all of us, looks at 5e, that you know that your importance, your value comes from you, not the information you carry. But we're about to walk into some very tense situations. Would you be willing to share information? I understand if you are not.
I don't know what can help. What can you... And they just kind of put their head in their hands.
Soul will just pull them into a hug and just kind of hold them and just say, do you know his abilities to jump bodies? Do they have to be fully transformed? How long does someone have to be in one of those tubes before he can take control? Do you know any of this? It's all right if you don't.
I've only seen him when he was in control, but the things, the lengths he goes to for these transformations, I could only guess that to stay in them, they have to be. And they kind of look down at their own arms and all the runes that are on them. I don't know.
I understand. Thank you. We're getting you out of here. He will not have you.
Kota will go up to Soul and be like, I'm sorry, wait, did you say jump bodies?
Yes, he seems to be... We killed one of his bodies, but it wasn't actually him. He left. We were hoping to find some kind of binding or catch him by surprise, but clearly that's not happening. Glares at the data pad that had the message.
So, if we stop this one, who's to say that he's not out there just still amassing power everywhere else?
You have identified the problem exactly.
Whisker looks at, calls over Koto real brief, Koto, and gives, the kill signal, not in front of Myrani.
Right. Because, again, she is very much still learning about everything here that's going on in this universe that has to deal, that she can somehow relate back to what's going on where she's come from. So, not meaning to be insensitive, is very much still inquisitive about what's going on with the dervish. So she said, Myrani, I'm sorry, but if I'm to help prevent what's happened where I've come from, any information you can have is going to be useful, and in your own time. Again, I know you've gone through unimaginable trauma and stress, but when the time comes, you may hold the key to helping us deal a crippling blow to the dervish.
He can't jump bodies in your world, then.
Maybe he can, and that's how he became, and she puts up air quotes, a god.
Well, he's not a god here, and I would quite like to make sure that doesn't happen.
Agreed. For now, we have confirmed that we can destroy iterations of the dervish, even if we cannot root out the cause. He will be eliminated with prejudice wherever he manifests.
I think, Kota will then turn to Myrani again and say, I'm sorry if anything I've said has disturbed you or brought to the surface any negative thoughts or experiences. It wasn't my intention. However, I won't pretend to that I know you and that we have this long history. I've just been along for the ride a few days, but in some sense, I do know what it's like to have the dervish take from me people I care about, the loss on a planetary scale, and if it's within my power to stop him, I will do everything I can to do so.
Yeah, Myrani's still just kind of looking down at their arms, but they give a little nod. They're already in this place of, basically anything you say won't necessarily make it worse because we're already in worse.
Right.
Soul is going to sigh and kind of put a hand over where Myrani is staring at their arm. Let's see if he'll look up at Soul.
Yeah, they'll give you a little side glance.
Scars can be covered. Tattoos can be altered. This is your body. It is your life. And no one is going to make decisions for you, except you.
They squeeze your hand just a little bit.
Soul's going to nod and then look at him rather sadly and look up at the circlet and say, we might need that back for what we're about to face. Do you mind?
They just reach up, take it off, don't say anything, and hand it to you.
Soul's going to take it and lean in and kiss his forehead. Just be like, we'll keep you safe.
I think it's about this time that the ship comes down and you see the glorious beat up but then repaired again, repainted second hand swoop down and a light upon the landing pad, one of the guns still firing off into the air because no one turned it off.
It just does that now.
Welcome to Akaton.
It's like that turret in every video game that you're like, what is it doing?
Yeah.
It's just firing over there.
It's firing at something, hopefully.
Peace among worlds!
All right, so the second hand, you see it lower down onto the landing pad outside. So are you guys going to go out to meet it, or are you guys going to wait for them to come in?
Yeah, I'll go out to
Let's
meet
go
it.
out.
Yeah. Going out, yeah.
5e will as well, yeah.
Pons will take
Okay.
a second to loot the bodies.
Okay, fair enough.
Actually, 5e looks at Soul and says, "Stay here with my Ronnie."
Staying, yeah. Is Pons going into the second hand as well, or is he staying in to loot
No, I'll
bodies?
stay in the building.
All
Loot
right.
Bodies.
He's looting the room.
Oh yeah.
Soul is going to look across at Pons, and when Pons looks up from looting bodies, we'll do the little head tap of give me a mental connection, please.
Did you put the circlet on?
Oh, holding it.
Do the mind tap thing as you put it on.
Yeah, testing. See if it
Try
works.
now.
Testing.
Try now,
Testing,
motherfucker.
testing,
Come on.
You think you can get
Come
in
on.
here? You think
Try
you can
now.
get in here?
Try now.
Hello, is this
Think
on?
you're a big brain, do
Working.
you?
You big brain magic.
I'm not
All right.
jealous that I don't have telepathy.
Yeah. It's the
So
it's
give me a sound off who all is heading outside.
5e.
Whisker.
Koto.
Pa, yeah.
What am I supposed to do? We did the thing. Good job. High fives all around. But it.
Oh, yes.
They look
Tae.
over at my Ronnie, but it doesn't seem people are very happy.
Oh my god.
Tae, if you'd be so good as to accompany me momentarily.
Yeah. Looks around at everyone, kind of like rolling their eyes. Oh, yeah, that's probably for the best. All right, so you guys head out to the second hand out on this platform. These high winds blowing, and you guys all look super cool with your armor and your scarves and stuff.
Yeah, I think as Koto's walking outside, like she touches her little wristlet, and then like during this cool badass scene, it fades back into her like X-Men Storm
Yeah.
outfit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hair blowing in the wind.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, there. So you see it all? See that, listeners at home? It's a great.
You see
on a
that?
card.
You see that?
See that trading card? As you guys approach, the platform lowers down. Second hand crew, welcome back.
Oh, I forgot about this voice.
No one
Thank you,
cheered?
computer.
Oh, come on.
Detecting new member.
I just send it both Cat's and Scriff's security clearances.
Computer, tag kobold humanoid as friendly. Designation Tae.
Understood.
Oh, actually, that's a good question. Would it scan me and detect any, like, would I still scan as both of the people that I combined with?
Oh, it did not necessarily say either way. It could have been talking about Tae as the
Yeah.
new person, so you don't know at this moment.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try and open up the doors, or you know,
Oh gosh.
we're waiting for Swarkus to come out, I guess.
Intruder detected. All over Whisker.
Trying to find out.
New approved member Tae accepted. Unknown member approaching.
Well, who are you talking about? What? No, everyone's here.
Sensors say Yosoki. Yet not Yosoki.
Leslie, what's the catchphrase?
Ship. I'm sending you clearance, access, add new member.
Clearance access unequivocally accepted. No more questions.
I knew I put in that back door for a reason.
Yay.
All right, and you guys see the door open and you board the ship. Welcome back to the second hand.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Let's leave.
Where's the dragon? Give me dragon!
Yeah, so you get on, and as you all move in, you see Swarkus hanging over one of the rails. Welcome back, and looks at Whisker. You must be, what was it? What was Whisker? Whiskey?
Whiskey.
Whisker.
Good names.
Whisker, yes.
Whiskus.
Whiskus.
And they kind of look around. We appear to have replaced some of you. I see a new purple one, and
This is Tae.
Tae meets Swarkus Gore, an excellent security personnel member.
Pons is back there. And Sol.
I like the robot eyes. They're really shiny and wow.
I like the high heels.
What? I thought I replaced those. I mean,
You said you had something to report?
Yes. I pulled it from the, video logs, perhaps. You would all like to take a look. I'm not thrilled by it, but... They hit the button on the computer, and this video file comes up, and it's focused on the med bay. And the first thing you see is Swarkus Gore is walking back through the med bay, and just as they go to leave, a voice comes out of one of the Yosoki that's laying on the bed.
Which one?
Feather. Well, I've learned a fair bit about you, Swarkus Gore. Great name, by the way. See, me and an old friend of yours had a nice little sit-down chat. I know you too, Dervish. I know you kidnap children, hide behind the weak, and prey on the innocent for your own gain. A pariah and a parasite. In the end, that's what we all are, aren't we? But now that the greetings are out of the way, I came to deliver you an offer. See, I found the most ordained commander, and I see eye to eye on a few things. Things I think you can relate to. Like that strength is what keeps the universe turning. Strength of body, strength of mind, strength of will. Just like how you kept the Gurgatal together for so long in that corpse of a city. Swarkus Gore bares his teeth. Until the most disdained commander sent that death squad to kill the sinless people that I led. You two must be thick as thieves. Oh, our friendship has only just begun. See, I love making friends. In fact, I would like you to be one of them. I do not befriend cowards who hide behind others. If you were strong, you'd look at me through your own eyes, not this Yosoki girl's. In due time, I will offer you that courtesy, but until then, consider this offer instead. Seems that the, second-hand crew has gone and shamed one of the Silan archdukes, Pathon, I believe his name was. Seems his failure was not looked too kindly upon by the most ordained. And now, there's an opening in the Silan organization. Who better to fill that position than the man who proved Pathon's weaknesses? A particular Vesk who knows how to lead by strength, yet cares for the common man. You think I would join the Silan after what they've done to my Gurgatal? Not just slaying them, but torturing the survivors. There isn't a price that you could name. The Veskarium. Listen up, Mr. Gore. The Silan will conquer this little corner of the galaxy. I've had a tour of their technology, seen their tactics and drive to dominate. They've got a lot more in common with Vesks than I think you'd like to admit. What's on offer here isn't just a position on the winning side. No, it's a chance to save your people, your real people. If a specimen like you stands at the forefront of the Silan power, the Veskarium won't have to be conquered. It can be the conquerors once again. You can finish your father's war. You can lead the Vesk to their true place in the sun. No needless deaths. See, the most ordained commander isn't vindictive. They're pragmatic, a realist. And in the end, it makes more sense to respect the strength of your opponents than it does to grind each other into dust. Your strength, Swarkus Gore, can save the Veskarium. I know that this is a lot to take in, but offers like this are once in a lifetime. You've had to wait a long time for this moment, my friend. But it's time to go home. It's time to... the video feed shows Swarkus snatching up Feather as they lift him in one fist. And there's this clear, inescapable fury on the vest features as he shakes with rage. You talk too much. I talk when there's something to say. You talk when you want to be heard. Now it's time for you to listen. You're right. The Vesks are conquerors, proud and strong. We do not bow to weaklings like you, nor will we become lamp lizards to a commander too pathetic to face me, let alone my people. No, you think I don't see your veiled threats? What is going to happen is the Xylan will smash against the steel of the Veskarium and shatter like glass. I will personally stomp out the life of every Archduke they promote until the Xylan commander expires under my bionic boot. As for you... And in the feed, you see Swarkus lift them up until they're face to face. I'm going to tear apart every one of your bodies until I find you. And then I will consume you whole. You fucked with the wrong Vesk.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I'm sorry that we can't do business if you get out. Until next time then, Vesk. And you see on the feed, Swarkus Gore, still suppressing rage, sets Feather down on the bed, and he pulls over a drip bag of anesthetics and flicks the needle, and he bends down and brings the needle to the Isoki's arm, but his claws are shaking so badly that the syringe is basically a weapon. And Swarkus reels back and smashes his head into the wall, denting the metal slightly. He takes a few deep breaths and then sticks the needle in Feather's arm and turns up the dosage. As he does, he sees the unused restraints attached to the bed. Why would... And he straps down both the Isokis and then turns up the knockout bag for Twizzit Jr., before stomping down to the cargo bay. He stands shaking for a long moment before he begins to smash everything in reach. Eventually, he lets out a long roar that shakes the camera feed, and he falls to his knees. After a moment of silence, Cargo comes out from his hiding place and carefully slinks up to Swarkus before quietly curling up at his side. And Swarkus reaches over and gently puts a claw on the dragon before the feed cuts.
Man.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Adam,
Oh my God.
Adam, you get a popsicle.
Yeah, Adam gets a popsicle.
Holy crap. Also, how dare you harm my sister?
5e swivels his head unit towards Swarkus and says, I admire the way you handled that situation.
You see there's this hesitation. I wish I could say I was not tempted, but the Veskarium calls.
Can I roll a sense motive on Swarkus at this point?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to as well as a matter of best practice, but I don't feel it's necessary.
Yeah, I'm
Mine sucks. I got a 16.
Don't worry, 32.
Yay.
Anyone who was paying attention to Whisker at that time that video was playing would have seen like them clench up the moment that Swarkus grabbed Feather and like looked like they were about ready to beat the crap out of, like, throw hands with Swarkus.
On that same note, I was fully ready for Kota to be like, she draws her laser rifle and points it square at Swarkus after the video. If Swarkus
that
had
is
given in.
fully understandable.
Yeah. But yeah, go
All
ahead.
right.
Yeah.
With a 32, you can see that there is this intense frustration. It's not regret, but maybe this mournful look. Like they want to help the Veskarium, and they know that the choice they made might have damned millions of them to death. So there's this internal storm brewing.
Okay.
But there's also this overriding rage, having also just rewatched what happened.
5e follows up his commentary.
This being deals in deceptions, as I'm sure you're well aware of. The Pact Worlds and the Veskarium have fended off worse threats than these Cylon pretenders. But for now, we have other situations. The Dervish is active in this system. We're going to need to secure the Ahsoki. I leave it up to Whisker as to whether or not it is in their best interest to be transferred to the lab. And Swarkus, we've got to get Myrani off-world.
Whisker looks at Swarkus and says, I can see now why Scriff respected you so much.
One of his robo eyebrows go up at this comment.
I don't think we should take the Ahsoki into the lab. It seems too dangerous. But maybe we can take the lab to the Ahsoki.
Oh?
We really just need the research data and maybe a few tools. I'm sure we can replicate anything we would need.
We have enough space on this ship. I'm sure if we pulled some things out of one of these buildings, we could utilize it. But they look around. I'm getting the impression I'm going to be stuck on this ship more, aren't I?
I've just realised that Para's staying in front of instead of Swarkus as a fake young Swarkus, because that's what they were using to change.
I was a bit too distracted to notice this. Also, who's that handsome young man?
Para's, oh, thank you.
Oh, wait. I know that voice.
Yeah, they turn back. It is I, Para. But I will say that having heard the name of the most ordained commander, or the most disdained commander, nice. They have
Sick burn.
yeah, sick burn, Swarkus. I told you he was
burn.
cool.
It's cool.
But they've still got like that phosphite fuzz up that they get when they're worried or anything.
I'm going to go check on Feather real quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
I'm not there, out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Swarkus said he found it on video, or he just...
He just
Does
pulled
it
it
mean,
off.
like, he
the
doesn't
computer.
remember it?
he had
Okay.
the video.
Yeah.
He's like, here's the video. of it.
I couldn't tell if he if that meant he didn't remember it,
No,
Gotcha.
he does.
and then he saw the video. That was just, I wanted clarification on that.
Yeah,
Thank
he
you.
was just showing the recording to give us the word for word what happened.
Check out how I beat up your little sister. Look at this.
That's not how it happened.
He was very upfront about
Check it out. I
about how that
chokeslammed
went
her
down.
right into the side here. It was cool as hell. Then I tied her down.
Yes.
You hide behind children.
Hide behind children. I just killed them.
We couldn't hear the audio. We just saw someone beating up a child. Like, whoa, wow.
Curb stomp
Doesn't want
that.
to show us this walk. This is weird.
No, that didn't happen. Look, you can tell it's not cut. The video is untouched.
The audio is very quiet. We cannot hear.
I need to have a conversation with my ward. Resecure the medical bay when you're done checking on Twistage and Feather, please.
Of course.
I'm sorry that you had to see that.
It was hard, but given the circumstances, I think Swarkus showed incredible restraint.
I agree. I will return shortly.
5e goes back to the landing pad and inside the area where Saul's got Myrani set down and crouches down next to him.
I have been running potential success quotients. I feel that you should be entrusted with this data because you are a full-fledged member of this crew. You have proven yourself a capable combatant, and I would fight by your side at any time. There is a statistically significant decrease in the success of getting you off this world if I do not accompany you on the second hand. But if I do not accompany the other group, that would constitute a catastrophic failure. I leave the decision in your hands, Myrani. I will leave this world with you and safeguard you as best I can. Tae and Swarkus will be with us. Their actions have proven time and again that they are trustworthy companions and worthy combatants. You will be safe with them, but I will not abandon you. The choice is yours.
So they've just been silently listening as you talk. I imagine Soul is still nearby. And they look up between the two of you. If I were to tell you to come with me so we can leave this place. And they look towards the direction of the ship. I know that people will probably die And I know that if you, and they look over at Soul, both of you are there, then you might. I want to go, and I want you to come, but I can't. I can't do it. I'm not ready to face down the dervish. You are. So I'll go, and I need you to do this one for me.
We stay here to fight a battle so that the long tactical odds of winning a war are greater.
You see them ball their fists a little bit, and it seems like even though they're in this state of fear, they're essentially trying to overcome it with anger.
Myrani, even if after we part company this day, we never see each other again, you will carry the lessons that you have learned from us, just as I carry the lessons that your parents gave to me. Compassion, family, welcoming. No one ever truly leaves you.
Soul is going to put their hand over a balled fist and say, "He's lied to you this whole time, you know. Pain does not make someone stronger. It simply reveals the strength within. You've been very brave. We had no business bringing you here. We simply didn't know this would be here. I'm sorry."
And with that, Myrani starts to rise to their feet. And as they get there, before turning away, they grab both of you and pull you into a hug. Just make sure you come back.
Soul squeezes him very tightly.
5E's digits clench ever so slightly on the child's back.
Oh.
And then Myrani turns and starts shakily moving towards the second hand.
I'm going to walk with him. We'll get him settled. We'll give them the instructions.
All right.
And I guess we follow Hans's lead.
At this point, I assume Soul and Pons have either had their conversation or are about to.
Yeah, if you guys have a conversation, do it.
Loot the bodies.
So Soul taps their head, and Pons tries to create a telepathic link to them.
And Soul is not looking away from Myrani, but has the circlet in one hand. You told us that memory you had of the dervish making demands of your original. How much understanding do you have about Nerian's abilities, his capabilities?
Many older contemplatives are secretive about their capabilities and feared to be more powerful than what we would even expect. I'm not certain. I know he was cutting edge on research, so he was viewed as one of the best of us, one of the brightest of us, but that's in the past, and now I'm not certain with what has been brought to light, how far his reaches and how far his power has actually developed or decayed.
You worked in his labs. He was given a rather short deadline to undo aging. Do you think he could have done it in that deadline?
I think if anyone was going to do it, it'd be him.
And yet the dervish is jumping bodies. Do you think it was a stopgap? How capable is your original?
I mean, my hope is that if the dervish was forcing him, that perhaps he scrapped the research or hid it somewhere.
You're not really answering my question. Do you think he managed to reverse aging? Or do you think he simply made it possible for this dervish to leave a decaying body and jump into a more capable one?
Pons is going to have to think on that for a little bit, but from what I've seen and how the dervish used his technology, Nerians was never able to achieve his goal, and if he did, the cost was too steep. But I would say that switching bodies was definitely Nerian's responsibility. I can't think of the word.
They're doing,
yeah, but like there's a better word.
The onus lies upon them.
They enabled?
Something.
Soul is going to sigh, still looking at the ship after where Myrani went. In Koto's world, Nerians was a well-regarded philanthropist. Do you think it's the same here? Do you think he's more selfish? And trust me, I know it is difficult to ask these questions of those you care about.
It may seem strange since I wasn't just raised by him, but created directly from him. But our relationship might not be exactly what you think It's not like what I've seen of father and son. We had duties and we had responsibilities, tasks to fulfill.
Darling, we couldn't be more different. But believe me, I don't have a solid sense of family roles either, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, I fear I can't make a comparison of the Narians that Koto knows and the Narians I know. You seem to be somewhat obsessive, but not necessarily selfish. So I'm not sure if that helps answer your questions.
Sol's gonna nod and think on it a little bit longer, and then look it down at the circlet and walk over to Pons and hold it out and say, I know that this might make some of your abilities difficult. However, I'm worried you might be a target. If you won't use it, give it to Whisker, but... And they'll hand it over to Pons.
Wow. Okay.
Oh.
Could I have you make like a skill check or something there?
Do you want me to read you the description for that mind shield
I know what
circlet?
it does. Yeah. But it completely screws my abilities, and yet I think that's a good
really
point
an
to make.
interesting, sure. Why don't you go ahead, give me diplomacy there, Sol.
Fun.
Wait, they could say no. You know what? Fuck it. Second charming curiosity, because
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
that's a 29.
Even if I had you roll like a will save or something, I don't think your bonuses could reach that.
Yeah, I just wanted to get an idea of
How convincing
how
that was.
intense. Yeah. So wanted to really be here.
Soul is like almost disconnected. Like they have gone full tactical. They've had an emotional breakdown a couple times in the last few days. They have watched my Ronnie break, and they are just trying to get us out of this alive.
If it would make you guys feel better, and Pons places it very awkwardly on his giant
Yeah,
brain.
it's less like a circlet and more like a small crown.
Yeah. Is it stylish?
It's like a Burger King crown.
That was out loud to Soul. That was out loud to Soul.
Well, it's not a boombox.
I guess it'll have to do.
I am not doing this because I am worried about us. I am doing this because I am worried about you.
I mean, seeing the danger I've already been in, that's, I would say, fair for the circumstance.
They'll reach out and just squeeze his shoulder and say, thank you for all you've done. I want us all to get out of this.
So it's so much more than what I even thought would happen coming back here. So I do appreciate the work everyone has done getting us this far.
The dervish is after your original. He's after my family. And he might very well be in cahoots with my old family. I am very ready to be done with this.
That's a lot to unpack.
So after everybody regroups in this control tower, you watch as Taye, Swarkus, the siblings, Cargo, which did not have any screen time, and who else am I missing? There's so many people.
Marani.
And, of course, my Ronnie, as the second hand picks up off the launch pad and begins pulling up and away. You see the defense gun finally has run out of ammo, and the barrels are just going chicka 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 chicka, even though no bullets are coming out. Still trying.
Nice.
And you watch as they pull up and away, and there's only one thing left to do. So you guys step out into one of these hallways, and Pons, these are the kind of corridors that you floated 1,000 times. Memories flood back. The sunning area where you and Narians would discuss philosophy and scientific quandaries. The archway you looked back at one last time before you left Akaton behind in search of a cure for Narian's afflictions. You float through the hallways until you find the entryway to one of these pneumatic tubes, and everyone jumps in, and it's in these clear tubes that shoot you across the city, and you're looking down at this brilliant, swirling storm just below you. You take a few turns, and eventually it pops you out into the building you have been trying to get to this entire time. And as you guys close in, you can see above the doorway, Adaptive Evolutions Incorporated. This familiar archway which you've seen 1,000 times. And as all of you approach this door, Pawns, you know without a doubt who is behind it. A psychic security system panel blinks quietly to the side of the archway, and it sits in expectation for the return of the wayward son. And Pawns, as you align your mind with this system, it seems to have trouble recognizing you. And then, almost 10 seconds later, you get the impression of acceptance, and then a feeling of expectation, like a lock waiting for a key. And you remember the words of that Infernex officer, that the audio file is the key.
Are we all drawing weapons first?
Don't we have the key?
I'm still drawing my weapon.
I concur.
Everyone's drawing weapons?
I thought you said trying weapons. I was like, why would they shoot this door?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
No. We're just keeping weapons at the ready.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Whisker, if you could do the honors.
I'm gonna. Koto's gonna form her energy lash and hold it in her hands.
Very good.
Whisker hooks up the data pad, inputs the key.
You play the audio file. Father's home, boy. And the horrible laughter rings out through the halls. And again, Pawns, you feel acceptance as the door whispers open and a staircase lies before you. Narians always did love his antiquated effects. And we'll see you in the next chapter of the Emergency Power Podcast.
It's gonna. Oh my gosh.
And there's a little switch that will make the stairs turn into a ring.
When life drains you down, charge up on the Emergency Power Network. Theme song Triangles by Diamond Ace. Find them at bandcamp.com. Music provided by Nicholas Judy of Dark Fantasy Studio at darkfantasystudio.com and Tabletop Audio. Find them at tabletopaudio.com. As well as Carl Casey of White Bat Audio. Find them at whitebataudio.com. Font Azonics by Mixo. Find them on Twitter at MixoFX. The Starfinder role-playing game, including its official lore and images, are the intellectual property of Paizo Incorporated. All rights reserved. Narrated by Danny Lee Collins.
So I have a friend who is incredible and brilliant until she's not, right? And she just has these like, her name is Cassandra. We call her Derpsandra because when she derps, it's like really, so
Damn.
we were, like she started it. She started it,
His name's
right?
Sam. We call him stupid dumbass.
we were talking about like, we were having a day, right? We were having a time. We were all having a bad day in the office. We were just talking about like pets we had lost and like kind of like memories of losing things we loved. And I was like, and everyone has these stories. And I'm like, yeah. And it's ironic that I just shared the photo that I did. I was like, yeah, I remember when we had to put my horse down. And she's like, you what? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it was really weird because we like had to dig a pit and then lead him over by the pit. And she's like, what? And I'm like, they had to shoot him? And she's like, the whole horse? And I'm like, no, Cassandra, just the ass half.
Okay, that's pretty dumb. I'm sorry,
So
Cassandra.
the whole horse is now a part of my vocabulary.
The whole horse.